Brickyard, J.W. Miller wins. Throwback nights here at The Rock, formerly known as North Carolina Motor Speedway, a track that has had its history of racing for NASCAR, for ARCA, for the Cars Tour, you name it, they have been here on this track in the past. It's a track that we hope to see once again racing on in the near future, but unfortunately not going to happen immediately except for right here on iRacing. As we get ready to go, it's round number 3 of this GLSR Black Horizon Truck Series season. Throwback night, as I mentioned, here at The Rock, also known tonight as the MD Cows Throwback 150 here from Rockingham Speedway or North Carolina Motor Speedway. We appreciate everybody watching here this evening on this Wednesday night. I am the captain. Chris Scala will talk to our admin here in just a second, so make sure you do stick around. We'll talk here in a minute, but right now let's show you where we are and get you ready for tonight's race on the old map. As you might wonder, that is the wrong screen. That's what happens when you try to do cute things. It just doesn't work sometimes, but there we go. As we click on Rockingham Speedway, and let's see if it takes us to the right place. Of course, it's going to pop this thing up on the screen all the way down into the hills of North Carolina, and somewhere in there it's supposed to go to Rockingham Speedway, but it didn't work. I think it got lost. Good job, maps. Let's get lost here. Let's try it again. There we go. There's Rockingham Speedway, the dragway over there, and everything that you need to know about this track. Look, I'm still working on the whole Google Maps thing, but it's a work in progress. But anyways, getting ready to do some racing here tonight for 150 laps around this 1.017 mile track. It should be a lot of fun, and of course, as I mentioned, Kevin is here tonight. Of course, Kevin is the admin, and Kevin wasn't, he was here last week, wasn't feeling the best, so I kind of was like, all right, I'll keep him quiet for the most part, and I went ahead and put him on the air anyway. So yeah, Kevin, let's talk for a second as everybody grids, man. What are we expecting tonight?
Honestly, I'm not too convinced that it's going to be that clean of a race. Some of the guys are struggling getting through the bumps and getting loose off the corners, but I think it'll be very interesting and action-packed, so it'll definitely be worth watching.
Absolutely, and we look forward to seeing the action out here on the track tonight, and let's hope that you're not too busy. Rockingham, obviously, turn 2, I think, is going to be the action spot tonight. What do you think?
Most definitely. I say, yeah, they're definitely getting loose and struggling to get down the backstretch in a straight line, so it'll definitely be where I think most of the action is going to take place.
There you go. And that's the voice of Kevin Davis. We'll check in with him in a little bit. He's going to be the admin. Of course, hello to the Springer clan, including girlfriend Delaney up there in Ohio. I'm guessing the northwest side up there where UNOH is, where he goes to college. But let's take a look at the starting lineup here for the race while Kevin gets himself situated. We've actually stuck him up on a chair on top of a tower above the press box, which is probably not a smart idea. Anyways, Bryce McCune is on the pole. I believe he won the pole for this race the last time we were here. I'll have to check the records on that one, but he'll start alongside champion Sam Fontaine. Fontaine in the old Ray Bestis colors. Of course, I'm going, is that a Keselowski paint scheme? I believe that. I have to think back on that one. Jason Dalton and Tim Averill, they'll start there in row number 2. Row number 3 is where you'll see Bondurant and Drayton Cook. Row number 4, Caden Atkins and Christopher Dean. Last time we were at the Rock, it was the Dean machine. I believe that went to victory lane. Actually, no, Ricky Springer went to victory lane. The year before was Dean. Sorry about that. Sutphin, Matt Telder there in row 5. Row 6 is where you'll see Peyton Johnson and Alex Bryson. Cam Ingram, Lucas Stringer in row number 7. Ricky Springer going to start 15th alongside Sam Barnes. J.W. Miller and Drift going to start there 17th and 18th. Sean Peachin, your points leader, Alex Cummings there in row number 10. Row 11, Blaine Sparling, Anthony Keys. Jacob Black, William Martin will start in row 12. Row 13 is where you'll see Jason Branch and Dalton Wilson. Luke Daniels and Jason Clark there in row 14. Ben Pierce, Stephen Miles, row 15. Row 16, Dane Cruz, last week's winner at Pocono. And you notice I changed William's name. It's Keith Calhoun. That was his name in season 1. There's a throwback for you. Luke Knupp, Cedric Ingram in row 17. Tyler Brewer, Travis Icavacci in row 18. And the final starters, Robert Lukens and Josh Gagnon. It will be 150 laps and 150 miles-ish or so as we get ready to go racing throwback style. We'll try to show as many paint schemes tonight as you will see throwbacks all over the track tonight. Let's hope for a great race here as Mrs. Springer, Drift, everybody watching tonight. And we'll get one to go this time by. I forget that we get the extra pace lap here, which is a good thing. And there's Bondurant there in that FedEx paint scheme. That's a scheme from back in the day right there. The original FedEx paint there. You see the 56 of Caden Atkins running the old Napa paint scheme from the Michael Waltrip days. What else we got here? I believe that's a Harvick paint scheme on the 2. We got the old Kodak paint scheme on Peyton Johnson. The Daytona 500 paint schemes. The TIX guys are running the Re-Race for Beer Luke Strayer special. It's actually a throwback to the Ted Musgrave Mopar car. At least Luke's running it. John Deere car for the 22 of Sam Barnes. You see that there. It's the old Chad Little paint scheme. And again, we'll show some others off here in just a little bit. Cam better get a top 3 or no vitamin D. That's not good. All right, pace car's off. We'll be off here in about 3 seconds. Believe it or not, actually, that's where Kevin is. He's driving a pace car. As we go racing, it's race number 3, Season 8, Black Horizon Truck Series, green from the Rock. Fontaine with a great start on the outside lane. Takes it into turn 1, Averill topside. Turn 2 is going to be the tricky spot tonight. And that is because it pretty much narrows up out of turn 2. Very bumpy at 3 and 4. You'll see some side-by-side racing as lap 1 goes to Fontaine. Now, one thing we should mention, obviously this track will spread out. You're going to see grooves from the bottom all the way to the top here by the end of this race. But the one thing is for sure, you do not want to be in the top lane off of turn 2 because that wall will, speaking of throwbacks, Depeche Mode. Reach out and grab you. $22 of banking in turn 1 and 2, 24 degrees over in turn 3 and 4. 3 and 4, the more sweeping corner. 1 and 2 is more of the tight corners. This track was designed by the same guy who helped design Darlington, Harold Brasington. Came together with a business partner and helped put this track together. We ride with Sammy B down to turn 1. There's a very narrow part of the track here. And watch how turn 2 just kind of turns left here. Do not want to get that wall right there. And then down the back straightaway, and it's more of a sweeping turn 3 and 4 here. This was a favorite track of a lot of drivers, and still is. But unfortunately, you know, when it was reopened back in the early 2000 teens, they brought the truck series here to the Rock, but nobody came. It was kind of weird. And of course, the governor of North Carolina put all this money into the tracks of the state here last year, and it's helped to rebuild North Wilkesboro, and some hope that we will be able to rebuild the Rock and bring it back racing. As there's Lucas Strayer and Peyton Johnson a little free there off turn 4. Cam Ingram, last week's podcast visitor, outside there in that 5 truck. That Kurt Busch throwback there in that 51 truck. I like that. That's Ricky Springer. Kurt Busch throwback with Ghost, of course, his sponsorship, the energy drink, which I meant to take some photos for people this week, but I didn't. I went into a Kroger this week and found a whole shelf of Ghost energy drink. Because I had some people last week like, what's Ghost? There you see the spread out already from bottom to top. Everybody just being patient, letting the race come to them. 6 laps in. Our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook. They're on the forums and, of course, more importantly, at TrackCams22.com. Closest to the cameras you will see on iRacing, or to real life on iRacing here. So, let me see, Jason, or Kevin, you still here? See, yeah, all right, let me check you with Kevin here real quickly. Kevin, have you heard anything from drivers and stuff, or what was the one thing they were worried about? I know the one thing that's been talked about a lot, as I look for your microphone here, one thing that's been talked about a lot has been a repeat of like last week's race at Pocono, where we had a lot of cautions and stuff. What's the one thing that you that you've heard from drivers that they were most worried about?
A few of the drivers have not been comfortable. Some have discussed maybe starting in the pits, just hoping not to get involved in a lap 1 wreck. The last couple of weeks it has been rough on the starts, and they seem to be off to a great start right now. Just talking to them during practice earlier, they just, you know, they're kind of worried about getting loose off the corners and possibly just having that big one that, you know, it happens every week. You don't know who it's going to be with. You trying to stay clean and make sure you don't take any damage.
I think that loose you're more worried about is probably going to be right here in turn 4, because these bumps will send that truck around, especially later in the run. But no, that's a perfect point, Kevin, as you mentioned there. But so far so good though here in this race. You mentioned 10 laps in. We look at Anthony Keys here as he fights with the 38 of Alex Bryson. J.W. Miller, Mr. Long Run. We'll be watching him here in a little bit, because I'm sure he's going to fly through the field with older tires, something he likes to do. But we'll check back with Kev here in just a little bit. Zach Allman, of course, watching this race as we watch Peyton Johnson underneath Brian Sutphin. Brian, the Atlanta winner, race number 1 this season. You know, Zach, I've never had it, to be honest with you. I've actually become more of a Celsius drinker. For a little bit, I was drinking the Rockstar Punch, which is the fruit punch, because anything fruit punch is just plain awesome. But I've gone more to Celsius because it's more healthier, apparently, from what I've read and that kind of thing. And plus, it's a NASCAR sponsor, so I'm always in favor of drinking NASCAR products. All right, so biggest mover on a track that's very tough to pass right now. I kind of showed him a second ago. It's actually Anthony Keys back here, up 8 spots from the 22nd starting spot up to 14th right now. So a good start for him in this race. Other good starts so far. Ben Pierce up here started 29th. He's in the 24th position there in the 18 truck. See who else. Stephen Miles up 4 from 30th to 26th. Josh Gagnon up 38th to 32nd in the Dale Jarrett, what can Brown do for you paint scheme? Up in front of him, Travis Icavaci in the Dale Earnhardt's Wrangler paint scheme. And there's looking up, he's in the Team ASC paint scheme from back in the day. The Mike Bliss / Jimmy Spencer / whoever else drove the 2 truck for Jim Smith back in the day. Jason Clark running the old Casey Kane colors from 2006. Series that season, Casey won 6 races, including the Coke 600. No, I don't I don't judge off that. It's okay. Now, if you told me this, which, you know, I'm not going to bring it up because I got to save it for the podcast. The new segment, what were you thinking? I've already got a pick for next week's show. I read something yesterday that was very disturbing, and it's my winner by far. If you get a chance, make sure you listen to the Here for the GLSR podcast. You can check it out on Spotify and whatever you choose to watch podcast. But we debuted that segment. It's kind of like caution is out. We got trouble on the track. And Dalton Wilson, Travis Icovanci involved. Dalton in the 20 car, 20 truck, which, believe me, I'm about to check. That's a TI truck there. I got to check with Chris Lewis. I believe that's a Terry Labonte throwback. It looks like the old Kellogg's paint scheme from back, like late or early 90s, back before he put the yellow and stuff on there. I'll have to check on that one. But caution is out, and let's check out the replay here. We'll let Kevin go to work and see what happened here. But Dalton Wilson and Travis Icovanci. Jacob slides it in there in that Auto Trader truck. Oh, a little three wide action there, and they come together. And then Icovanci gets tagged from behind by, looks like that Harvick throwback. That just looked like a unfortunate cluster. Basically, I saw Pierce kind of got in there and got in the side of Black, and I think that shot Black up a little bit. Yeah, Black, you know what, Jacob was coming up the track a little bit there. It's kind of what, a little tag there with Miles. I'm not sure why Dalton didn't hold the brakes down there. If he'd held the brakes down, he might have kept it out of the wall. But either way, it is what it is. Unfortunately for him, and Icovanci cautions out for the first time on the channel. Fontaine's led every one of the 18 laps here so far in this race. And remember, 3 sets of tires here, so I do not expect many drivers, unless you're getting damage or to get fuel, coming to pit road here. Abel with a little bit of a fake. I think pretty much everybody's going to stay out here. Let me ask this question. I'm going to go ahead and let the "What were you thinking" segment out here on the broadcast. What would you traditionally, and this is more of a question for those who like to cook, what would you traditionally put into, like, maybe a chicken if you're cooking, if it's a special seasoning or a sauce, or if you're one that likes to put like beers or something like that? What would you put in chicken or on chicken to cook? I'm going to ask that to the viewers while we are under caution here. Of course, in the Black Horizon Truck Series. Race number 3 here tonight for the series. And a big shout out to the sponsors, of course, Butt Kicker. If you are playing fantasy racing over on the Great Lakes Sim Racing website, of course, you have that chance to win the Butt Kicker prize. You'll get in the drawing if you're the top point scorer each week. Of course, Edwards Setup Shop, the official shop of GLSR. And Spicy Schemes, of course, is the sponsor with the cars and stuff. Most of these trucks you're seeing out here. But a big shout out tonight to the sponsor of the race. And they are on the screen right now. There we are, MD Cows. And they're sponsoring the Throwback 150 here this evening. Let's see. Only thing I put in chicken's teeth. That's fair. Almond says perfect the way it is. You can tell that Almond is young. Camo does win a little lemon pepper. Okay. So, here's what I'm thinking segment for this week. I'm kind of going to put it out there, and I might do that only because I might find something else being done that's worse than what I'm about to tell you. As we come to the green flag, Fontaine leading. So, the FDA came out with a report yesterday. If you watch, like, the nightly news, you might have heard this story. But the FDA came out with a report as Hondo pushing Drayton Cook into turn 2. That's going to cause a little checkup. Close. So the FDA comes out with a report for parents to look out for putting NyQuil on chicken and cooking it. Think about what I just said for a minute. Three wide, almost here. Turn 1 and 2 gets sorted out. Everybody does. Springer, Drayton Cook side by side here. You got Peyton Johnson, Sutphin. Caden Atkins is in this picture with Lucas Strayer, Alex Bryson, Anthony Keys. All these guys in this fight. Well done, sir. Well done. Casey's from Nashville, by the way, and that's who War is, in case people don't see that. I asked Casey during a race during his series, which is the All-American ARCA series on Friday nights. I said, hey, what's this deal about Nashville hot? And he's like, the hell if I know, pretty much. Apparently Nashville hot's not so hot in Nashville. This is your first battle on the track. Peyton about knocked a wall down. That's going to cost him a little momentum. Here comes the 56 inside. Strayer right there with him as they try to tag team up. You see, one thing about this track that sounds so weird, but it's so true, is the truck kind of drives itself. And how, like, what I mean by that is when you drive it into the corner, depending on how deep you go or whatever, the truck kind of picks what lane it goes to. If it drifts up to the wall, if it stays on the bottom or whatever. You see, like, everybody's drifting up right now. So yeah, so going back to what we talked about here. So apparently there's a story out that teenagers these days are, or something's happening with teenagers doing a lot of this NyQuil on chicken stuff. And basically what they're doing is they're cooking the NyQuil on the chicken, and it creates some kind of a, not a scent, but it causes like a steam. And apparently the steam causes them to get high, so to say, from what I've read in the article. But for those that even have thought about that, or even whoever came up with that, what were you thinking? What are you thinking? Or are you thinking? Put a beer in the chicken. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, caution out. Keith Calhoun has gone around. Calhoun and Josh Gagnon, the 99 truck and the 79 have gone around. Second caution is out. Caden blocks on. That's funny. All right, let's see what happens here. Mr. Dale Jarrett paint scheme there, the old UPS truck. Yeah, there's our first wall shot right there. I said it a million times already. Top side of the track at turn 2 is not good at the Rock. It definitely bit Josh, and unfortunately has taken the 99 at Calhoun with him. I am not. I'm just repeating an article I read, okay, Casey? And we've got a couple leaders on pit road here. Bryce Calhoun is in, and a few others down towards the back of the field. But this is the reason right here why I said you want to put this truck on the line, or at least let that other truck go by you in turn 2, because this happens. Bammo! And knocks you down into the other truck. Well, Black Horizon's awesome. Make sure you check them out. Who's PJ, by the way? Oh, PJ's Peyton Johnson. Yeah, never mind. I get it. Okay. Kevin just told me in my ear who PJ is. I'm like, I don't know of a PJ other than Peyton Johnson. All right, 30 laps in, top 5 hanging out about the same right now. As I mentioned, Bryce came to pit road. It's not Peyton Johnson, Kevin. This is Ricky's grandma. by the way. Who agrees? Well, anyways, check out Black Horizon Brewery, by the way. If you haven't been in the Chicago area yet, you can go and enjoy yourself a brew. They got so many different brews to check out and stuff. And I know if I ever get up to the Chicago area again, I will be stopping in. But they're the proud sponsor, season number 5, I believe now, that they've been a part of this league. So good to see them back here with this series and all the sponsors, of course, that are part of it. All the viewers watching tonight. And I am going to talk to a driver real quick. And that driver is going to be the driver of the 95. Let's bring Bryce up here and talk to him for a second. Mr. Bryce, a.k.a. the account under Jason's name, McCune. Do you have a copy? I am good. Let me make sure your audio's on. I see we got 1 to green, so I got to make the question short. Why pit there?
Well, when I looked earlier, we had 3 sets, and I just felt like this was the right time to do it. I honestly thought more people were going to come, but they did not. So kind of just hoping that it goes green here and I can pass everybody, but who knows?
Sounds good. We'll see, man. But best of luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Makes sense to me. Bryce McCune. And we'll get him down to his channel really quickly. And that is the TI guys. No, I mean, it makes total sense. It's a chance. That's what racing's all about sometimes, is a game of chance. And Bryce is going to restart back in the 23rd position. As we come back to green, Fontaine's led all 32 laps. Let's see if Abel can get a good start on that top side. Dalton in 3rd. And a good restart for the 77. One of the big topics that has been talked about. PJ, hello. First time watching. Oh boy. Peyton Johnson, the other PJ we were talking about, 3 wide in turn 3. They sort it out. This track's plenty wide enough in the corner, just coming off of it, it's not. But no, welcome into watching something you probably never envisioned you would ever see in real life. And that's a video game simulator being broadcasted. We all are sitting on our computers at home. Literally, I am here in my spare room calling this race right now. So we appreciate you watching. We hope all the best to you guys and family. As you see, teammates battling right there to 3 and the 8. Abel's fallen all the way back to 7th already. Now he's going to lose the 7th position to his teammate. Now they're going to go 3 wide and go split C on him. Brian Sutphin drove that thing down to Mooresville almost. Oh, don't be 3 wide off this corner. That could have been ugly. These trucks are on top of them. Look at all this. This is J.W. Miller. Almost gets in the back of PJ, or Peyton Johnson. PJ. Now you got PJ stuck in my head. It's cautioned back out 3rd time. And this one for the Bulldog, William Martin. Valvoline paint scheme has gone around for the caution. I think this is a potential solo car spin here. Oh, contact. McCune gets into the 1 of Sean Peachin. Luke Daniels gets a piece, and unfortunately the Martin Truex Jr. paint throwback gets a little roughed up. Sean Peachin. I don't see much damage on that one. Just the left rear. So I thought it was a solo spin, actually turned into a bunch of trucks. Let's see it again here. So it starts up ahead. Bryce McCune and Sean get together, and they hit again. And look out, Travis. Travis gets clobbered. Luke Daniels in it. As I mentioned, there goes Sammy B to the inside. Down Under Racing taking a big hit on this one. Yeah, Rockingham is probably in my top 5 faves here. It's in my Fab 5. There's a throwback for you. Remember the old Fab 5? So, all right, so we had fun with the first trivia question. Or not really trivia, but survey question. Then we talked about what were you thinking. Let's talk candy. Let's go back to back in the day. What's some of your favorite candies that you can remember from your kid days? Or, you know, teenage days or whatever days? You will not be judged. Don't worry. I will straight out, though, out there right now. Sugar Daddies. Awesome. Let's see. I remember the gas station I lived in Florida. We'd always go to. Give me Dum-Dums, which I know they're still popular now, but those were cool back in the day. Remember the First Union Banks always had the green lollipops? Those things were awesome. Well, what was some of your favorite candy as a kid, or when you were younger? So Jacob Black's on pit road. Sean Peachin getting damage fixed. So is Dalton Wilson still. Ike Kavachi's taking his truck behind the wall. So is Josh Gagnon. Fun Dip. Yes. With the old stick, you would literally dip it into the dip. Pixie Sticks. Yep. Necco Wafers. I don't know if I've heard of those. Butterfinger BBs. Casey, you're definitely showing your age. No offense, buddy. Butterfinger BBs? That's awesome. Remember the old bazooka bubblegum that had the tattoo in it? You'd put the tattoo on your arm? I remember those. I always remember buying baseball cards when I was younger, or football cards, and they always had a stick of bubblegum that came in it. Remember those two? Ricky Springer's brother, Russell Springer. Really? Has it been that long already? I remember when they first came out, I was like, well, these look interesting. I remember when they first came out with the chocolate-covered dipped pretzels called Nestle Flips. I was like, oh, those look good. And I still eat them. All right, so everybody still stayed out here. And leader has been Sam Fontaine, all 40 laps here now. Once we get to lap 50, I think it opens up a window to where you could see some pit stops happen. It's 3 sets of tires to get you through the race, 100% fuel. Probably the only time you hear me say the word fuel all night. But we'll come back to the green flag here at lap 41. Pace car pulls off. Christopher Dean up to the 4th position. Watch him. The Dean Machine's got himself a Rockingham win in a dominant race that he had a couple seasons ago. And, of course, he's coming off a top 2 last week. First side-by-side battle. Caden Atkins, Ricky Springer, Lucas Strayer there. You see the side of his truck. Free beer for everybody if he wins. Of course, Asheville Rooftop Bar Tours sponsoring that truck. And that's actually a true thing, I believe, going on at the bar tour. Because I believe if I think it has been set up, if one of the TIX drivers wins tonight, I think the tour or whatever gets free beer or something, or a round of beer. I don't remember exactly the wording of it, but Springer's going to clear Strayer for position. Here comes Sutphin, the Atlanta winner inside. You always got to give plenty of room entering turn 1, and that is because it is so easy for a truck to slide up like Cruz did there. He got that apron, that almost sent him packing. He's inside of the Alex Cummings automobile. We're going to speak throwback terms. Julie, if I may ask, I know Ricky, obviously a big-time baseball player, and unfortunately Brandon Alfin's not here tonight, and I know his answer already. But was Ricky a big Big League Chew bubblegum eater. Because you know, if you played baseball, you had to get like the bubblegum that looked like dip, if you will, for like Skull or whatever. Back here, Matt Telder inside of the blinking number 8 of Drayton Cook. Bryce McCune right there with him. See the 19 up in front of him right now. Cedric Ingram running a Jimmy Johnson paint scheme, the old Ally paint. Remember on the podcast, Cam mentioned that he and his dad there, big Jimmy Johnson fans. So that's what that 19 truck is. That's awesome. Look at that line of trucks. Jason Branch right there behind Cam. That makes sense. The daring question I want to know is, were you the one to put it in your hair? Well, sunflower seeds, of course. That's, you know, that makes total sense. The old bubble tape, bubble gum that said that it was supposed to be, I think, a yard length of bubble gum. I think it was how they advertised it. Oh, look at this mess. We ride with Anthony Keys here in the 87 truck right behind Springer. Falling into the clutches of Dane Cruz, and Anthony into the wall. There's that top side. JW goes by. Good thing for Anthony, he didn't ricochet it off the wall. And now he's going to be in the clutches of Alex Bryson. There's the 5 of Cam Ingram, as I mentioned. Bacon barbecue sunflower seeds. What? Peyton Johnson looking inside of Averill. That's the 8th position right there for those guys as we hit the lap 50 mark. Drift is on pit road, unscheduled pit stop for him, and at 14. I never really was a sunflower seed person. Like, I was one of those picky eaters where I was really big with texture. Like, the taste of coconut, the smell of coconut nuts, great. I absolutely despise the texture. Because of that, I will not eat coconut. As this battle continues, as McEwen almost gets in the back of the 87, he checks up and gets out of it. That almost got bad. And I didn't see who the other truck was. Maybe Cam Ingram there is going to lose a lot of spots because of it. When McEwen had it there inside and had to jump out of the gas before it got in trouble. These guys all fighting back here. It's around the 14th position right now. Fontaine continues to lead all 54 laps so far. I think they might finally sort it out here for 30 seconds. Contact Knupp and Bryson. That got close. They sorted out. It's like nobody can get away from anybody right now. I think of some older candy now. I mentioned Sugar Daddies. Those were good. Horse Werthers are still around. I'm trying to think of things you don't really see much of. Like I'm picturing my last time I was in Cracker Barrel. That's where you usually see them all. If you actually go on like Instagram, you could see a bunch of, like, you look up like 90s candy and you could find a whole list of it, and like toys from back in the 90s and things like that, 2000s. Stretch Armstrongs, the old Chucky toy. Chucky was the man. Oh, they're back at it again back here. Blaine Sparling's joined the battle as he's going to take him 3 wide down to turn 3. And Peyton Johnson is on pit road. The law firm. And lap 59. And this might make sense for this pit stop here because a lot of these trucks have not pitted all race. So you wonder if this is a scheduled stop here. Right side tires going on. Now and later's Chico sticks. I can't say I remember that one either. Four tires and fuel, and the 15 pulls away. Bondurant, who's been up inside the wall, and his former teammate there side by side with him as Springer comes to pit road. Looks like 4 tires and fuel for the 51. He pulls away 15.1. And you see the battle amongst 3 of the 4 KGD2 trucks right now, looking pretty solid. First, second, and third right now. Stephen Miles inside the 11. That's the battle for 5th right now. Takes that spot away. There's teammates now going at it. Now for Miles, he actually pitted before this last restart, so he has got fresh tires, well, fresher tires than the field right now. That's how he's able to blow past these guys right now. Oh, he's up to the 4th spot in that 7 truck. McEwen working his way up to the 8th position around the 56 of Atkins. It's been some great racing throughout here. A couple cautions, but so far so good. What the people pitting right now need is for this race to stay green for a while. They need everybody to get to pit road, because if not, you're looking at needing to take a wave around likely to get back on the lead lap. So if you're Springer, if you're Wilson right now, if you're Peyton Johnson, yeah, this is old school Rockingham racing right here. If you want to know why a lot of NASCAR drivers of the past love the Rock, this is it right here. Tires would fall off. You can run all different types of lanes. I mean, it was a track when they announced in 2003 they weren't coming back. It was one that a lot of people were disappointed about. Back here, Luke Daniels making a pass on Branch, the 18th position right now as Jason Clark comes to pit road. You got battles everywhere. I'm just trying to click around to find passes and things like that. Stephen Miles is up to the 2nd position right now. We're about to have a lead change here. The fresh tires have made their way to the front. Nerds, there's one. There's a sweet potato candy. As inside goes Pop Rocks. There's another one for you. As Miles goes to the front. So the rookie leading his first laps, I believe, in the series. So Miles and the guys who pitted at lap 29 when the caution came out, those guys want this race to go green for a while. So like Miles and McEwen and Blaine Sparling, those guys who pitted and took tires, they want this race to stay green at least And as soon as I say that, Bondurant's in trouble. Justin Bondurant over here in the corner, no caution as he kept it straight. What happened to the 11 truck? Did he call his pit stop out and somebody ran him over? Oh, he got tagged by Dane Cruz there. Kevin helping me out with the replay here. What'd you see, Kev?
Yeah, it looked like he called out his pit stall that he was stopping, and the car behind him definitely did not take recognition of the fact that the guy in front of him was pitting.
Well, yeah, so basically Dane Cruz, well, what doesn't help here either is Bondurant did look like clipped the apron, as you might have said there, and he slid up the track. Great save, and what a way to keep the caution from coming out here as green flag pit stops now starting. Bondurant's out of control still back here in the back straightaway. And Bondurant's coming back around. Does he have a penalty or something, I wonder? But Fontaine is in. Christopher Dean, Lucas Strayer, Tim Abril, Alex Cummings all on pit road here right before halfway.
Yeah, it looks like Bondo's serving a black flag.
Oh no, Bondurant, a black flag penalty. Probably speeding on exit would be my guess, because usually speeding in, you'll be able to sit in your stall and do the penalty. So probably speeding on exit for the 11 truck. So unfortunate break there as pit stops are completed for those guys. Here comes Dalton and Sutphin in. Thanks, Kev, for your help there. And J.W. Miller on pit road. Caden Atkins, Alex Bryson, all these guys at lap 73. Going to be 4 tires and fuel for everyone. See Sutphin leaving his pit stall. There goes Bryson as we watch the pit stops for Dalton. You see the times down there at the bottom again. The time you see in white, that's the total time on pit road. You see the times changing over. 14 flat for Dalton, 15.2 for J.W. Miller. Slow stop there. Let's see, that keeps the lead with Miles and McCune right now. Is Robert Lukens, Brian Sutphin come to pit road along with Jason Branch.
Headed up the track.
Been told, you heard the end of that, Brewer and Lukens contact over turn 1. Thankfully, we stay green here for everyone's racing sakes. As Branch leaves pit road there, 16 flat for him. And here comes last week's winner, Dane Cruz, the Pocono winner. Went out there in a tricky triangle last week and took him to town pretty much there in that last run of the race. There he is, that Red Sim design truck. Right side tires going on. And the 46 pulls away, 14.4 for him. A lot of pit stops there during that run. As I look, Ben Pierce is in. He's pretty much the last one to pit in this cycle. So now the field cycles out to pretty much everyone who has pitted in the earlier cautions are the trucks up front right now. So Stephen Miles is going to be the leader. Bryce McCune and Blaine Sparling, your top 3. Those guys pitted at lap 29. And then also you had Luke Daniels, who pitted at 38. He's running 4th right now, along with William Martin and Tyler Brewer. Cedric Ingram, who pitted at lap 18, runs in the 7th position right now. Peyton Johnson, Sean Peachin. So this field is really, if you grab the, as I like to say, if you grab the Yahtzee thing, there's another old school game for you. The old Yahtzee cup, and you shake up the dice, basically. That's what you got right now, is the whole shaking up dice. And the field right now as they work their way through pit stops here, lap number 80. And with the pit stops happening, we're looking at, if I'm doing the count right here, 7 trucks on the lead lap right now. So those drivers need this race to continue. And with them pitting at 29, I'm expecting to see the rest of this field come in probably in the next 15 laps. But you're going to see the fresh tires go blowing by. There goes Cam Ingram past the leader. We'll have to keep an eye out here with position battles. Here's Fontaine underneath Springer, who's got some left side damage and some right side damage. Looks like a crunched up energy drink right there. .82 laps complete. All the different strategies here. You got that battle. Let's look back here. You got a couple trucks battling for position with Barnes and Bryson and Dane Cruz back here at the 20th position right now. See Sean Peachin battling with Springer right now. You see behind them the 48 of Dean. Everybody's just got to be careful. You got to kind of tiptoe with this because you got trucks everywhere on different strategies. And obviously anything can happen. All right, 87 laps in the books. You see Dalton going flying by with the tires. So with this window, it is pretty big. You're looking at almost a 50-lap window right now from the time, if you don't count Cedric Ingram, who pitted lap 18 here. You've got people that pitted at 18, 29, 37, 38, 59, all the way up to 76 is the latest lap I'm seeing. Looks like Tyler Brewer actually just came to pit road at 83. So this is literally what I mean by everybody's got their own strategy right now. Which one's the winning one is the million-dollar question as Stephen Miles continues to lead by 1.5 over Bryce McCune. Sparling there in third. Luke Daniels there in fourth. William Martin in fifth. And then it's Peyton Johnson. Peyton's the first truck that pitted outside of the caution. And what I mean by that is the caution or the green came out, ran at lap 39 or 40. Peyton was the first one to come to pit road, and that was at lap 58 as Cedric Ingram comes to pit road now. And then after that, it's Fontaine who pitted at 70. This is pretty intense stuff right now as you look at this. There's a battle for the 10th position right now as Jason Dalton and Tim Averill. 27 viewers tonight. Appreciate those guys watching here on the Captain Esports Network. If you're enjoying the broadcast, you can, of course, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch or Twitter, Averill doing everything he can right now to maybe get around. Crossover move there. Use the top side. Goes to the bottom. Dalton's going to fight him up there on that top side. Maybe he's not. That's that top lane I was telling you about right there. On the back straightaway into turn 3. Look at this gaggle of trucks. 3 wide. Fontaine takes it to the bottom. That probably scared the Jason out of Clark. This is actually going to become a battle for position right here. Fontaine has caught the back of this 15 truck. Yeah, who knows? Well, the 27, okay, let me explain that. The 27 is basically the amount of people that have a screen watching this. So, out of the 27, who's got more than one